Picture this, it's 3 in the morning and somewhere over a classified target, there's a bomber carrying enough firepower to level a city, yet it's completely invisible to the most advanced radar systems on Earth. The pilots inside are controlling a machine that costs more than its weight in gold, literally. And here's the kicker, this technological marvel first took flight when most people were still using dial-up internet. Yet in 2035, more than 4 decades after its first mission, the B-2 Spirit will still be America's most feared bomber in the sky. How is that even possible? By the end of this video, you'll understand why this ghost of the skies refuses to be retired, and why America's enemies still lose sleep knowing it exists. The B-2 Spirit isn't just a bomber, it's a promise, a guarantee that no matter where you hide, no matter how sophisticated your defenses, America can reach you without you ever knowing it's coming until it's far too late. When this flying wing emerged from the shadows in 1988, the world wasn't ready for what they were seeing. This wasn't just another military aircraft, this was science fiction made real, a shape so bizarre, so alien, that it looked like someone had taken a photograph of the future and dropped it into the Cold War era. The entire aircraft is essentially one massive wing spanning 172 feet, with no tail, no traditional fuselage, just this sinister black shape that seems to defy the laws of physics. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Each B-2 Spirit costs $2.2 billion. Yes, you heard that right. Billion with a B. That's more expensive than most countries' entire annual defense budgets. To put this in perspective, if you stacked $100 bills to equal one B-2's cost, that stack would be taller than a 60-story building. The Air Force originally wanted 132 of these monsters, but when Congress saw the price tag, they nearly had a collective heart attack. Only 21 were ever built, and today just 20 remain in service. Each one is named after a US state, and each one is treated like a priceless work of art, because that's essentially what they are. Now you might be thinking, why would anyone spend that kind of money on a single aircraft? Hold that thought, because the answer is going to blow your mind. The B-2's development began in the late 1970s during one of the most paranoid periods of the Cold War. The United States needed a bomber that could penetrate Soviet air defenses that were becoming increasingly sophisticated. Traditional bombers were basically flying targets, massive aircraft that lit up radar screens like Christmas trees. The solution? Make a bomber that radar simply couldn't see. Northrop Grumman's engineers embarked on what seemed like an impossible mission, creating an aircraft with a radar cross-section smaller than a large bird. We're talking about a 170,000-pound machine with the radar signature of something you'd feed breadcrumbs at the park. The technology required to achieve this was so classified, so revolutionary, that even today, more than 3 decades later, most of it remains secret. The B-2's skin isn't just paint, it's a carefully engineered coating that absorbs radar waves like a black hole swallows light. Every rivet, every panel, every inch of this aircraft is designed with one purpose: invisibility. The edges are serrated to scatter radar returns. The engine inlets are buried deep in the wing to hide their heat signature. Even the exhaust is cooled and shaped to minimize infrared detection. This isn't just stealth, this is next-level, physics-defying. How did they even do that stealth? But stealth alone doesn't make it deadly, and this is where the B-2 really starts to flex its muscles. This ghost can carry 40,000 pounds of ordnance. That's everything from precision-guided smart bombs to nuclear weapons capable of ending civilizations. It can deliver 16 massive 2,000-pound bunker busters or 8,500-pound precision bombs in a single run. Imagine the psychological impact. An enemy commander knows there's a target on their back, but they have no way of detecting the incoming threat, no warning, no time to evacuate, just sudden, catastrophic destruction appearing out of thin air. And the range is absolutely bonkers. The B-2 can fly 6,000 nautical miles without refueling. That's the distance from Missouri to the Middle East without stopping for gas. With aerial refueling, which the B-2 regularly employs, it can strike literally anywhere on Earth, from its home base at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. There's a famous mission from 2017 where B-2s flew a 34-hour round-trip mission to bomb ISIS targets in Libya, then returned home like they'd just gone on a Sunday drive. No forward bases needed, no warning to adversaries, just departure and destruction. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating, because while everyone focuses on the B-2's conventional capabilities, its nuclear role is what keeps world leaders awake at night. This aircraft is 1/3 of America's nuclear triad, capable of delivering thermonuclear weapons with precision that was unimaginable during the Cold War. The B-2 can penetrate the most sophisticated air defense networks, fly deep into enemy territory, and deliver nuclear payloads with accuracy measured in feet, not miles. It's the ultimate insurance policy, the ace up America's sleeve, that makes any potential adversary think very, very carefully before escalating conflicts. But maintaining this level of lethality comes at a cost that would make your accountant weep. Each B-2 requires 119 hours of maintenance for every single hour it flies. The hangar where these bombers are maintained must be climate controlled to protect their special coating. We're talking about air-conditioned parking for aircraft that costs more per square foot than luxury penthouses in Manhattan. The annual operating cost for the entire B-2 fleet is roughly $2 billion, about the same as building a new one every year. And yet, the United States keeps writing these checks because what price do you put on guaranteed global reach and total air superiority?
Meanwhile, America's rivals have been trying desperately to catch up, and let me tell you, they're not even close. Russia has been promising their PAK-DA stealth bomber since 2009, a next-generation flying wing that's supposed to match the B-2's capabilities. The first flight was supposed to happen in 2021, then 2023, now they're saying maybe 2027. At this rate, the B-2 will be celebrating its 40th birthday before Russia gets a competitor off the ground. And even if they do, they're starting a race that America won 3 decades ago, with technology and operational experience they can only dream about. China's H-20 program is equally shrouded in mystery and delays. They've released some artist renderings that look suspiciously like they traced over B-2 blueprints, but actual hardware? Actual flying prototypes? Nothing but promises and propaganda posters. Intelligence estimates suggest China might have a working prototype by the late 2020s, but that's still years away from operational deployment and decades away from matching the B-2's proven combat record and continuous upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, this is where the B-2's genius really shines through. Unlike other aircraft that become obsolete, the B-2 is constantly evolving. The Air Force has poured billions into modernization programs, upgrading everything from radar systems to communications to weapons capabilities. The B-2 flying today is radically different from the one that entered service in 1997. New defensive management systems, modernized communications, improved radar, updated weapon systems. It's like the ship of Theseus, constantly renewed, yet maintaining its lethal identity. These aren't just software updates, we're talking about fundamental capability enhancements that keep the B-2 at the cutting edge of aerial warfare. Now, you might have heard about the B-21 Raider, America's newest stealth bomber, that's supposed to eventually replace the B-2. Here's the truth that nobody talks about. Even replace is a generous term. The B-21 won't achieve full operational capability until the early 2030s, and even then, the B-2 isn't going anywhere. The current plan has both bombers operating side by side well into the 2040s. Why? Because the B-2's unique capabilities, its payload capacity, its proven systems, its operational experience, these aren't things you just swap out overnight. The institutional knowledge alone, the decades of learning how to operate, maintain, and employ this aircraft in combat, that's irreplaceable. Let's talk about that combat record for a moment, because this is where theory meets brutal reality. The B-2's first combat mission was in 1999 during Operation Allied Force over Kosovo. It flew non-stop from Missouri, dropped precision weapons on Serbian targets, and returned home, all while Serbian air defenses never had a clue what hit them. In Afghanistan, B-2s would appear out of nowhere, deliver devastating strikes on Taliban positions, and vanish back into the sky like vengeful spirits.
Iraq, Libya, Syria, everywhere the B-2 has operated, it's maintained a perfect record. 0 losses, 0 intercepts, absolute dominance.
The psychological warfare aspect cannot be overstated. Enemy commanders know the B-2 exists, they know it can reach them, but they have no way to defend against it. It's like fighting a ghost that can kill you, but you can never kill back. This creates a level of paranoia and fear that conventional aircraft simply cannot match. How do you plan a defense against something you cannot see, cannot track, and cannot stop? The answer is, you don't, you just hope you're not the next target.
As we look toward 2035, the strategic landscape is becoming more complex, not simpler. China's growing military ambitions, Russia's aggressive posturing, emerging threats from rogue nations, the world isn't becoming safer, it's becoming more dangerous. In this environment, the B-2 Spirit represents something irreplaceable, guaranteed access. When conventional forces can't reach, when satellites are being jammed, when cyber warfare has created chaos, the B-2 can still penetrate, strike, and return. It's the ultimate strategic asset, a weapon that doesn't just win battles, it prevents wars through sheer deterrence. The upgrades planned through 2035 will only enhance these capabilities. New radar-evading technologies are being integrated, advanced weapon systems are being certified, communication systems are being revolutionized. The B-2 of 2035 will be even more capable, more deadly, more unstoppable than the aircraft flying today. While adversaries are still trying to field their first-generation stealth bombers, America will be operating fourth-generation B-2s with 5 decades of evolution behind them. Here's the bottom line that makes the B-2 truly immortal. It's not just about the technology, it's about the entire ecosystem of support, knowledge, and capability that surrounds it. The pilots who have spent decades mastering its systems, the maintenance crews who know every rivet and panel, the mission planners who understand its capabilities better than anyone else on Earth. This collective expertise is worth more than any amount of money. You cannot buy this with defense budgets, you can only earn it through decades of operation. And America has that monopoly. So when you see that sinister black shape cutting through the clouds, when you hear the barely audible whisper of its engines, remember, you're witnessing a legend that refuses to die. The B-2 Spirit isn't just surviving into 2035, it's thriving, evolving, and maintaining its position as the world's most feared bomber. In a world where military technology typically becomes obsolete within a decade, this 4-decade-old ghost continues to haunt America's enemies and protect her interests with unmatched lethality. The future of warfare is here, and it's been here since 1989, flying in plain sight, yet invisible to all who would oppose it. That's the true genius of the B-2 Spirit, and that's why it will remain America's deadliest bomber long after we thought it would fade into history. But the B-2 isn't the only technological miracle keeping America's enemies awake at night. Next time we'll reveal the secret weapon that makes even the B-2 look conventional. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming.